Yo, my people, what up, though? We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
Yo, did y'all notice how when it came on, so that quick cut out, y'all, real quick? That's what I be trying to avoid, which is I'll figure it out. I'll get it right.
What quick cutout? Say it again.
Right after the countdown, right before the intro comes on, it cuts to us real quick and then goes to the intro. I'm trying to avoid that.
So what were you doing before? Or was it because we weren't on StreamYard before? Or were you just cut?
We were already recording. Like I hit record, we were live. You know what I'm saying? Or I would hit the 30-second countdown and then go live, and then the people on there would see the live going, and then it would automatically jump into the intro, and you wouldn't have to worry about that quick.
Yeah, that's not what I'm asking, but it's not a big deal.
Really not neither, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, not here nor there.
Right. P, what's happening? You got the Chicago Bulls jersey on. I'm loving it. I've been a Bulls fan since I was yay high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
At one point,
got to bring your shit out the closet, man. I'm chilling, man. I'm in the season, man, where I'm focusing less on the art and more at home. So that's the goal right now.
I love that, man.
It's
what prompted the shift?
The what we're trying to accomplish at the crib. You know what I'm saying? We got some tangible goals that we're trying to meet, man, and they seem realistic. You know what I mean? Just the direction of life and stuff. They seem tangible and realistic. And then I realized after the Grammys, I took that break, but then I felt like a need to keep the momentum. You know what I'm saying? Like you do something like that, and it's like, fuck, I can't stop now. So after my break, just to get my mind right and, you know, like get my bearings again, I automatically went back to focusing on the art, feeling like I had to stay in this pocket of momentum as much as possible. And that kind of took me away from, I think, focusing on just, you know, what we doing here at the crib. Like, what are our collective goals? What are we trying to accomplish in the next 6 months, the next year? And then, you know, things started happening. And so, you know, got this information to get my, you know, I'm trying to raise my credit score significantly within the next 30 to 40 days. Got some significant planning that we've been doing. But yeah, man, and you know, I got goals for the art, but it's giving me time to actually formulate a plan like I did with the Grammy campaign by not focusing on it as like the primary right now, you know, and like fortunately, I don't have that like stress of, you know, being an artist, man. Sometimes it's hard to separate the money from the art, you know, like sometimes you got to be creating in order to generate the funds. And right now, this is not where my head is at. So, yeah, man, I'm just focusing on the crib, man, and getting things done. We got some moving and shaking we getting ready to do, and I'm looking forward to it. And you know, so it feels good because it feels like a different momentum for me because my focus is usually the art. You know what I mean? So it's telling me that, you know, like I'm making the right choices. So I'm doing good, but just one day at a time, man.
Thank you for that, man. What I hear in you speaking, and now that I think about it, this probably could apply to you in general, not just the time right now, is balance. Like striking that balance. You know what I'm saying? And I know exactly what you mean because you're an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't got sick time. You know what I'm saying? You don't got vacation time. Like you don't have that. So there's an element of the grind that has to be constant for you to live. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be, but it can't be at the detriment of your family because, or like we were talking about before we started recording, like your health and wellness. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't. So the word I hear in my head for you is balance because I think again, this is why I say you should see a therapist, man, because Prentice, you're very good at knowing what needs to be done, but where you need help is like how to put it all together.
Execution of it.
Like that's it. Like it's not like you're aloof. You know what I'm saying? Like no, I got to focus here right now because I was focusing here and this faltered. So I got to spend some time here. But my point is, and I'm saying this with the understanding that's easier said than done, first and foremost. But my point is, if you find that rhythm where you can stay here like simultaneously, here and here,
Yeah.
and nothing drops off too much, right? Like you're not going too hard with the art and let's call it what it is, man. Like, you know, when you are self-employed, there's things you're going to do for money. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is art component, but I really need this money more than I need to get this art out. You know what I'm saying? So like I get it, man. I was self-employed, man. Like I get it. And I commend you, man. I just what's the word that Chief always be using? Implore. Is that a word? I implore you to really sit down with a therapist, man. And because I think that's what you need. Like I think you just need somebody to help you organize all this shit. And I think I also would suggest, especially here, I mean, I don't know if it's still considered newlyweds, 2 years, but you're recently married, you know what I'm saying? So I would strongly suggest couples therapy.
Yeah.
Because that will help, man. And I think that's the key. My personal opinion, right? Like we always say, we're not therapists, but my personal opinion for you is, man, once you can find and strike that balance, I think you can be dangerous, man. I think you can be dangerous because, you know, you're just swinging the pendulum, man. You're swinging the pendulum,
Back
you know?
and forth, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, you're going from one thing hard and all right, I gotta go back over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta find that. Cause that shit, dude, that's exhausting. I can't imagine how you feel. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I realize it's exhausting because, you know, when something is, for lack of a better term, all you know, or what you've trained yourself to do, you don't necessarily realize the fatigue until you do something different.
Yeah,
so
man.
I think that's the key.
And the unfortunate thing is, two things can be true too. You may not be able to experience the success as you would have if you weren't conditioned to do that. Oh shit! Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear.
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened.
We hear you fine.
Yeah, I know my computer went out though. I think it might be dying. Damn, I'm back. Chief, do your checking.
Yeah, how are you, bud? Chief,
Bell didn't check in, did he?
Nah, but he
No,
fixing some
oh
shit.
no, I'm back now. I'm back now. So I'll wrap up. No, man. Again, Prentice, my thought is, man, see somebody. You know what I'm saying, and just because you're trying to do it on your own, but you're not going to get the growth that you're looking for until you sit down and try to figure it out with somebody, with a professional. So, but I commend you for recognizing where you need to be. All right, what's the saying? You know, be where your feet are. And I think that's what you picked up. For my update, man, I don't know, man. I don't know if it was the holiday weekend. I had an amazing time in Martha's Vineyard last week. Me and the family went out there. My family, Lorraine and Chase, my mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and that was it. In the house we rented, man, it's like the perfect house for me if I got it. Like if I didn't want to buy it with somebody else, I just wanted to get like a family vacation house. That was a perfect house. It was 1,000 square feet, but very good use of space. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. So it was very good use of space. Not far from everything. It was a dope time in Martha's Vineyard. I had a good time. But I say that to say because I went into work this morning and I was feeling a little overwhelmed, and like call it anxiety, call it whatever you want to call it. I'm not really sure, but I got some information last week that kind of triggered some old emotions. It was good news, not necessarily for me, but it was good news in general. Not bad news for me. It was just good news in general, but it could potentially impact me. And I think it triggered some of the trauma that I experienced recently in moving over to my new company. And it's got me questioning some things. And I shouldn't say questioning some, well, yeah, definitely questioning some things, but also reflecting on me and how much I'm pouring into me compared to a goal, kind of like what you're dealing with a little bit, but on a different scale, Prentice, because it's not necessarily family or art for me. It's like, do I need more from me? You know what I'm saying? Not monetarily, but do I need more from me? And if so, what does that look like for everything else? Right? Striking the balance. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's where my thought process goes. And I'm not saying that I know what that is or if that even exists. I'm saying that was what my feeling and thoughts were today. And also I had like a deadline today. That's why I was cramming to get that in. I wasn't cramming, but it took a lot of energy to get it done. And so yeah, I'm in a weird spot. It just happened today, so I gotta do some more reflecting. I have therapy on Thursday, which I'm probably gonna have to reschedule just because I'm not trying to go to Connecticut on Thursday and Saturday. But yeah, I got the house stuff happening. Want to give Chief a shout out on the podcast for holding me down. I was planning on going to Connecticut last Saturday because I had to go buy some doors. Somebody was selling these doors I needed on Facebook Marketplace for my house, and I just happened to call Chief like I always do, and his game got canceled, so he's like, man, I'll drive out there and get them for you. I was like, word, you're a real nigga taking them bullets, man, because I did not want to drive out there, but I was about to. So he held me down, and he's terrible though. Just for anybody that needs errands run by him, logistically he's terrible. Like,
did it get done?
It got done, and I appreciate you. And I
at the
thank
time
you.
it was supposed to get done.
Nigga, that was a fit like a motherfucker.
All I'm saying is
backwards ass compliment, yo.
Like a phone call when you got there to show me the merchandise would have been helpful. But I was grateful for everything that man did for me on Saturday. He got me the doors and a bonus door that he doesn't know will end up at his house if I don't need that thing. Because you may need it with your soon to come renovations potentially. But yeah, a lot going on in my mind. Family's good, you know. Family's great, man. Family's great. It's a lot going on in my mind that I got to kind of sort through. So that's really it.
On my end, fellas, all is well, moving and grooving. Got some, put my foot in this project now. I had a couple things happen to light even more of a fire for me, which was kind of dope.
Since the academy?
Yeah. Even something else after that. I didn't get a chance to share with you because you don't answer the phone when I call you. So
my bad.
Say what? Huh?
I do always answer the phone. I just didn't on Friday. My bad.
My shit always works. Sometimes.
Yeah. Nah. But that's been cool. So I've been really grinding in that. I got a couple pieces already done for the album that I'm really liking. Like, I want to make it like super eclectic. I don't want it to be like I want it to have a bunch of different feels, and I think I'm accomplishing that, which is kind of cool. Because I did some studying of the last winners and nominees, and it's just like all 5 albums were very different. P.
Yeah, they were
very different.
If you confuse that,
and it wasn't about fusing it; it was just about staying true to who I am and not being like, let me go by this one because he won, or this one because she got nominated. Just do what you do, and you'll be all right. I mean, that was the lane you went in, P. Right? I'm gonna just do what I do. This is what I do. You're gonna get these poems from me on stage because that's what I do, and you're gonna like it. And so you're gonna get a piece of everything. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about it.
Let me know if you need my taco joint.
So outside of that, I had to snap on my shorty this weekend. She played bad, but had a bad attitude on top of it, and that like really drove me crazy. Like it was like softball, baseball, like a failure sport. 3 out of 10, you're an all-star. 3 out of 10 in basketball, you stink. You know what I'm saying? So she's still doing well. She's had a bad day, but the energy, the body language was like abysmal, bro. Like it was bad. Like it was so bad that I went to the dugout and just kind of, whispered to her, like, yo, you got to fix that. It's bad. And she didn't. And it pissed me off so bad. I went and sat in the car the rest of the game. Like, I was so mad. I was like big mad. It was just like she was a terrible teammate, bro. Like awful.
You said that before. And I think that's the part that gets me. It's like when you say terrible teammate, then everything clicks for me. It's like, all right, Like you can't be a terrible teammate. Like you can be mad and you can be upset you're a competitor, but like you can't be a terrible teammate.
So that was the deal right there. But the boys are good, man. They've been at my mom's for the week. She got a little lake by the crib.
I was gonna say she must have a lake. Every time I look up, they're in the water.
She got the lake right by the crib. Unless you've been up there, but she lived like it surrounds like for real like live on the lake.
I didn't know that was a lake. I didn't remember she lived by a lake, but I think I know what lake you're talking about. And I didn't know that was a lake that had sand. Like,
yeah, they go there, and so the boys got these remote control boats, which is cool as hell. So they be on the water with them joints. So that's cool. But outside of that, man,
Eves was tearing one of them bitches up though. He kept running into the dock. Like,
yeah. But everything's good, man. I'm excited for y'all to hear the stuff I put together. So I'll shoot it out to y'all and just get some feedback before I actually put the stamp on it and submit it. But,
so conversation for another day. But since we're on the subject of your project, could August serve as listening party?
That's what I intend to do.
Release. All right, cool.
Yeah, but speaking of that, we need to get on our grind because we talked about pushing the date back because we didn't have enough time and we just burning away weeks and days.
I was thinking about that today.
All right, well, lead the charge. Let me know.
Let's pick up on that. And that was part of my problem. Was what I said in the beginning. Like, never mind. Let's get into the episode. P.
Before we start,
I
just want y'all both to know I love you from the bottom of my heart.
Love you too, bro.
I love you too, bro.
All right.
Something else coming behind that because I feel like you don't just send straight love. It's always
that's why I did it. That's why I did it because I realized that. See, listen. When I didn't realize I was gave you a compliment, then I kind of shitted on you. So that's why I'm like, we all got our blind spots, bro. So that's why I want to make sure I cleared the air. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all, man. I don't know what I would do without you, Chief. You know what I'm saying?
Anywho,
that was sweet. We can segue right into the motherfucking show with that. Some people would consider that to be a little emotional or sensitive. But we don't give a fuck. You said what?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. The title of today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, is Why So Sensitive? And I'm gonna tell you where I got this from. I was on Instagram earlier this morning, and I happened to come across a post by Royce the 5'9", and he does a live stream every week. I forget what it's called, but he does a live stream every week where he does a live and he allows artists to get on there. I've been on it a couple of times and kick poems.
Oh wow, that's what's up.
Yeah, it's really dope, and I think it's a really creative way to interact with his fans. People to have an opportunity to display their art for somebody they admire, and just exposure. You know what I mean? But his post said that he wasn't having it tonight because while he was on the live last week, he called somebody a bitch ass nigga, and that's against Instagram guidelines, and they canceled. You know how you can get your shit shut down for a while. So his live is shut down and deactivated.
Speaking of that, y'all know we got banned for 3 days.
Did we for what?
I commented on one of the tonight's conversation posts. The nigga Trip was going in on something, and somebody said Trip is a national treasure. I'm like, word, get this nigga a monument somewhere, a statue somewhere. They was like, womp womp, you've been banned for abusive language. You can't go live for 3 days.
Oh wow!
This is perfect.
They don't know that that's a term of endearment.
Hey man, I just put
this is perfect, but it's allowed. It's allowed if we saying it in a song to each other. Bitch is allowed 1,000,001 different places. So, I wanted to talk about. There's a couple questions I have for you guys specifically, but to start generally, it's a really, really generic question that I wanted to ask you guys, and it is: has society and the world and people become too sensitive? I don't know what you guys think about that. Just
Short answer, yes.
Absolutely.
okay.
But I don't think it's all bad.
Oh, you
Like I don't think it's all bad, right? Like if we're talking about the world, we're talking about like, you know, everything holistically. Think about it, man. Like think about how women were treated in the workplace, right? Whereas like sexual harassment was just understood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
No.
that, like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like think about, and not to get too morbid, but think about, I'll just say the victimization of women in certain things. It wasn't like, think about domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Think about domestic violence. Like it wasn't looked at how it is now. And somebody could say, oh, that's we're getting softer, but that's an area that we got soft for the better. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it, man. Like it was, and I know why you're asking the question, but I'm saying there's other parts too that I'll take the other side. I'll take the other side and say that yes, we did, and in some areas for the better.
I think this is it. Let me see real quick. Y'all remember this joint?
Yep.
Remember that?
Wait.
Whoa! I forgot about that shit.
Remember that? Talk about sensitive.
I lost several followers. Several hundred.
You mean because of
the post?
You're saying that the responses were sensitive? Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah.
Going.
You remember how hard they went on me for that shit?
Talking about you, like
Chief. Before you even continue, just for our audio listeners, tell them what you just posted.
Oh, right. So several months ago, Prentice posted something and he said he didn't leave you for another woman, he left you for a better one. And the women went crazy on him. I'm talking about they was going crazy.
Whew.
Crazy. And then when he flipped it like what, a couple weeks later maybe, and he didn't leave you for, or she didn't leave you for a better man, she left you for a better one. And the conversations was completely different. It was just a different
You go, girl. You go, girl.
Right.
In there. Done did that. You go, girl. Hell yeah. Amen. Prentice preaching today. Get the fuck out of here.
Yo, but just something like that. Like what's the saying if the shoe fits, where's it? But like people are always feeling like they're being subbed in any type of post.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be people you haven't spoken to in years. You post something up and they feel triggered by, oh, he talking about me. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, chill out, shorty. It's a post that I thought was interesting that's just in the air. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I think it's great. And one of my thoughts was, I think it's interesting how directly connected censorship and sensitivity is nowadays. You know what I mean? Like they go hand in hand. Like you know, I was thinking about, you know, all the things that, you know, cancel culture, right? Like you think about cancel culture, that comes from a space of direct sensitivity, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's people who may have the same sentiment banding together to say that this person should not be allowed in this space because of something that they said. And I find it really... Go ahead, Bill.
No, I was going to say, I also believe that this is a product too of now everybody has a voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has a voice. So, and I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying everybody can be heard if they choose to be heard. So naturally more people can be offended. Mm-hmm. Because if more people have a voice, that means more people are also listening.
Right. And that's what I think makes it so much more interesting, because everybody does have a voice. Everybody is allowed a platform to say how they feel. You would assume with the direction of, I think, society in general right now, where people are doing all and anything, you know what I'm saying, that there would be a level of sensitivity or openness that like you kind of gotta have in order to, you know, navigate through society now. And I was thinking about, you know, the idea of, you know, things as simple as calling somebody a bitch ass nigga on live and being canceled. But on that same social media platform, you know, I go back, you know, thinking about censorship and sensitivity to The whole thing that's going on in the Gaza Strip, man. You know, like seeing all these dead babies day after day after day, and
I can't do it.
Dead people day after day after day. Like I couldn't, like it fucked me up. But that's not censored. You get what I'm saying? Like, but bitch ass nigga is, but you can show me dead babies, man. Like I will never forget some of those images, bro. You know what I mean? And so it brings me to wonder, where do you think we're going in society nowadays when it comes to censorship and sensitivity? You know, like what direction?
Yeah.
Let's start in general at first.
I think too many with the essence of, you know, everyone has their voice. I think some people are so opinionated about just certain whatever the situation is, but they're so opinionated that your voice, yeah, you have a right to be heard, but I don't necessarily have to listen to you. I think once you can separate the two, like, because people have something to say about everything, and I'm talking about, like, I guess this is a slightly different topic, but it's more opinion based, and it's a lot of negativity going on. And I'm the prime example I can give was the one time I posted a video of myself and Mia, I'm singing the major song, "This Is Why I Love You," whatever, and I'm just playing, we're having a good time, father-daughter moment. But then that shit hit me, and like when I heard the song, I equated it to marriage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what a husband say to his wife. But then I'm looking like, I found love in you, and I've learned to love me too. Like, that's something a father could say to his daughter, right?
Mm-hmm. Or son.
Or son, anybody.
His kids. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? And but I never attributed to that. So when I'm joking my daughter singing, "This is why I love you," and I'm like, oh shit. And I got emotional, and she started crying, and I started crying, and I shared it. Oh, he just doing that for clicks and likes. And it's just like, come on, B.
Yo. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, but like, so that's where my mind goes to. It's like, regardless of, even if it's the most positive gesture, the greatest thing out there, somebody is gonna say something that's just like, come on, like the hate that's going on with
Ronnie
LeBron right now.
Man.
Bronny and Bron. Like, how is that? Like, hey Bell, if you had a chance to get Chase up in the joint at as a director at 18 and get him the pensions and the bags and the bonuses, hey son,
yeah, pick out your office furniture,
right?
Yeah.
Real quick,
like, and people just bashing that, and it's the craziest thing, man. But people are sensitive to that because a man is doing what he's supposed to be doing for his son.
Here's the ill thing, bro. The ill thing is this: the platforms and the machine that has given everybody voices is also the reason, or also the reason or system behind taking voices away. So it's like they're the governor. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's almost like it's like a weird control thing. Like,
they're like the puppeteer to emotion, to human emotion nowadays.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if people realize how much, like, because we're on these platforms, they're literally figuring out how to control our emotions and influence our emotions and teach us how to feel, teach us how to think about certain things. They pull this string back, pull that one forward. And we don't even realize that, like, at a certain point, they're no longer pulling, we're doing it for them. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of put us in that algorithm to be able to, like, condition our brain to do it.
We're stuck in the matrix, bro.
Literally.
Jump on this live, tell me how you feel. Jump on this live and tell me how you feel, but don't say too much because I'm going to shut your shit down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, think about it, though. Like we're all human, right? So we all like praise, we all like compliments, we all like we all like to feel good. So the challenge is, though, where are we getting our dopamine from? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this dopamine is coming from by way of social media, which is the most superficial way to get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like instead of and I'm just being general, but instead of putting the time in to grind and work, you know, I'ma just post some cash I got and make it seem like I'm doing all this stuff. I'm gonna make it seem like I'm doing more or better than I am, so I can get that, you know, reassurance and praise, as opposed to just putting your head down and working. Somebody told me a long time ago, man, it was like you don't need to tell people you got money. Like, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, it's understood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's understood. And he was like, you ever notice the richer people get, the broker they look?
Very true,
And he's
man.
like, and the broker people are, the richer they look. He's like, think about the people wearing designer. Like, think about a Jay-Z. When you see Jay-Z out, he looked like he's dropping his kids off at school, right? And Jay-Z ain't somebody who can be in public and somebody not take a picture of him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's a billionaire. And I used him because white billionaires and black billionaires are different. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's obviously more white billionaires than black billionaires, but there's countless examples of white wealthy men when they go outside the house. Like, they don't look like they got money. But meanwhile, we be in the projects and having the people admire us in the projects because we got a Lexus. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a nice watch, because we got this, we got that. And it's like, it's all relative. And I understand that. And I appreciate that struggle because I was a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, we have to your point, Prentice, we have to start creating our own stories and telling our own stories. But the challenge is, it's like a catch-22. The challenge is we don't have platforms to do that outside of the ones that are pulling the strings.
Right. And so what I'm noticing now is that, to me, in my observation in general, specifically speaking with men, because I'm trying to think how to put this, man, because there's so much shit going on. There's so many different groups. There's so many different clubs. There's so many different associations. There's so many different places you can go, and there's a group for everybody nowadays. You know what I mean? And I ain't talking about just on some gender shit. I'm talking about aspects of your personality, your interests, whatever. But when it comes specifically to men, I feel like what we're seeing, like I watched the NBA. Well, I didn't watch the NBA draft, but I saw a post, right? And I saw a lot of people just really like, one, I thought it was hilarious because they were like, who are these niggas? That was funny to me. That was one of the
Tommy Davidson post.
Yeah, like, who are these niggas? Yeah. But two, there was a lot of talk about, and what I noticed now is there seems to be this war between emasculated men and masculine men, right? There seems to be these conversations that happen now with the younger generations that seems to have what a lot of people would consider softer traits, you know, this whole soft men era thing, and men who like to keep the tradition of what they view as manhood alive. And there seems to be this war about what manhood is. And I personally feel like there is some type of agenda going on in regards to the whole idea of what manhood is. So speaking on that, I want to ask you, Chief, do you feel like men in general have become overly sensitive?
Blanket answer, yes.
Nah, I don't want a blanketed answer.
No, I'm saying, I mean, general answer, yes. I think men are becoming more sensitive, but
no, overly sensitive. Too sensitive.
Overly?
Yes, not more.
It depends on what angle you're looking at, though. Because think about it, from where we from, we talked about overly sensitive being like okay, use a bitch ass nigga. Round our way, like
swinging.
We probably scrapping.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that considered overly sensitive?
Mm-hmm. Can be. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's the angle I guess we're coming from, because yes. Men
what
I
angle? And
wouldn't.
I feel like with society nowadays, it makes us hesitant to answer that in a natural way too, as well. I think that sometimes we put extra thought in those type. That's why I'm asking these questions, because I feel like us even being on a podcast and having our own podcast and knowing that there are other people listening, because of the dynamics in society nowadays, even we can become more self-conscious of the words that come out of our mouths, even though we may truly feel that way, because we're considering other people's feelings and thoughts.
So here's
right?
my thing. So with that being said, like, I'm looking back at myself, like I've learned just over the course of the podcast and just, doing the soul searching, that a lot of the situations that we go through, everything that happens, you always got to go back to self first. So when you ask the question, I'm going to assess yourself. And I'm going, yeah, nigga, you overly sensitive. But it's about how you respond in the midst of that sensitivity. So I'm going back to Morehouse real quick. Like, I was bothered. I think I was extra sensitive about that. But my response wasn't. My response outwardly to the masses wasn't necessarily like, oh, everybody can't point at me and go, he's overly sensitive. But it festered in me for a while. So I dealt with it that way. So I think within that sensitivity comes how you handle it, which I think the display of that sensitivity is where the fine line is.
What about you, bro?
I have a couple of thoughts. One, who set the bar for sensitivity to decide if we're overly sensitive or not? Here's what I mean by that. I would argue up to 20 years ago, give or take, right? I'm just spitballing. There was zero sensitivity, which isn't good either. You know what I'm saying? So one could arguably say we are overly sensitive compared to zero sensitivity. But my question is, where should the bar be? Like, where's the barometer, right? So it's like, we knew let's just use that number, 20 years ago, we weren't sensitive at all. So there was no show of emotion, period, unless it was anger. And now we're more in touch with our feelings. And now we're viewed as overly sensitive. But I would also argue that the knock on men 20 years ago was potentially to be more in touch with your sensitive side. And then when we get in touch with our sensitive side, it could now be viewed as overly sensitive. But I think what happened is this: the men who were men 20 years ago were who they were, right? They may have moved the bar a little bit, but they were who they were. However, with society being more accepting of men being sensitive, the generation that was coming up may have been in touch with their feelings at a younger age. So, which then carried on, and those kids 20 years ago, some of them have kids now. You know what I'm saying? So now their kids are being brought up to always express your emotions, right? Always show. Always. Yes, buddy.
He's right on time. He's been doing this the last couple episodes. That's funny.
No problem, buddy. He's trying to come in here, but he can't get in. So you see what I'm saying? So like my son, right? I was just having this conversation today with my man, Ken the Connect. Shout out to Ken. What I was telling him today is I can probably count on two hands in my entirety of from 0 to 18, call it. I can probably count on two hands in my house that I've heard people tell the other person who lived in that house that they loved them. You know what I'm saying? Like 18 years on two hands, I can probably count it. And that's to my parent to parent, parent to child, child to parent, child to child. Like two hands, 18 years, I can probably count how many times I heard the word, I love you. So that's not good, right? But now my son, I tell him I love him all the time. It's crazy. I literally just mentioned Ken's name and he's calling me right now. That's crazy.
Work, man.
You should answer it and tell him.
Nah.
But he'll listen to the episode. Shout out to Ken.
Yeah. I'm gonna send it to him. So my point is, my son will grow up more sensitive than I did, because that's the environment that I'm breeding. But it's not overly sensitive. I'll sum this up by saying this: his barometer has been set high for sensitivity. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't know what I dealt with. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So his barometer set high. He's like, overly sensitive. What are you talking about, man? I was just learning that if you feel something, say something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
I think that answers the question, because I was going to ask you, do you think the increased level of hypersensitivity in society has a direct impact on Black men being willing to be more vulnerable?
Yeah.
So hypersensitivity is a little triggering for me.
Why?
I'll be honest. Because I don't know if I necessarily agree. Like Chief gave his blanket answer. He said, generally, yes, I think we're more sensitive. But I guess the follow-up question to that is, compared to what? Compared to who?
Previous generations, it has to be.
Yeah, but that's not apples to apples. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But that's not apples to apples, though.
That's why I just put myself in the middle. So ask yourself the question: are you? I can see it's different. Overly sensitive or much more sensitive than you were?
I'm more sensitive, but I would argue if I was overly sensitive, it would be more balanced.
For you in particular?
For me particular. Yeah, me. Yep. Like, I think both of you are more in touch with your emotions than I am.
Yeah. And mine get in the way of my development and productivity at times. You get what I'm saying?
I could say, Prentice, compared to me, you are overly sensitive.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep. But that's not necessarily a dig at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
I get it.
Because you could also say it's like, you ain't sensitive enough, bruh.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's just the trigger word for men? Sensitivity?
I think so. I think
that's what it is. Like, I think if we found another substitute word, would it make it a little bit more easy for us to accept? Because when we hear sensitive, it immediately says soft. No,
I prefer 100%, which is why I would prefer in touch with your emotions.
Mm-hmm. The term sensitivity has never found its place within manhood that is a comfortable spot for us to visit.
You forgot about you forgot about Ralph Tresvant, boy.
That's the song been playing in my head.
That was the only time. That was the only time it was cool. I need a man. That's the only time. That's the only time. So, but going back to the question though, Chief, like when I asked you, do you feel like men to become overly sensitive? You use the analogy of like a nigga being called a bitch and wanting to fight. What's the flip side though? Like, is there another way that you look at it?
I think that's pride though.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, so like when you talked about the gentleman from 20 years ago, like it's a bunch of people who got killed over something stupid because pride was in the way, or was it heightened sensitivity? You know what I'm saying,
bro?
Or niggas were sensitive and got their feelings hurt and took a nigga out.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, man. This all go back to slavery, bro. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, this all goes back to slavery, man. Like, think about it. Think about it, bro. Obviously, nobody in our family that we knew personally were slaves. But we do know people who weren't far removed from knowing a slave, right? Like, if you knew your great-grandmother, she knew a slave, period. You know what I'm saying? At our age, our great-grandmothers knew a slave. Or their parents were sharecroppers, something to that effect. My point in saying all of that is, think about it. For 400 years, somebody told you who you were, and it wasn't positive. They told you what to do, how to do it. You were someone's property. When that generation comes out of that, the freed slaves, dude, that's 400 years of conditioning. 400 years of conditioning. So they're going to grow up with, I'm never going to experience that again. My kids will never experience that, right? They're going to stand up for themselves, whatever the case. So that let somebody, that heir was forced to do something against their will by somebody, by a stranger that owned them, that teaching and education and learn behavior is going to be like, I'm never going to let somebody disrespect me like that again.
And I think that's one of the things, is what I was just thinking. If you relate the idea of sensitivity to our culture, whenever we were struck with moments of quote unquote sensitivity, we usually had to meet it with some type of like aggression. You know what I mean? We usually had to push back in some sense because we were offended or hurt. And we were also taught that we can't show that hurt. You can't let them know they're getting to you.
Bro,
how many generations in our culture have had to live through that idea? Don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them see you cry. And you going all the way back to slavery, butt breaking and all that shit that was going on down then, where you couldn't show that you were broken even after you got literally physically broken in pieces. We've been conditioned for so long not to show any signs of sensitivity. And if we do, it comes out in a march. It comes out in a strength protest. It comes out with us having to put our lives on the line because we feel a certain way, but then still having to restrict our emotions and think so hard about how we can display them. The sensitivity has never, I think, held a healthy place in our culture. But
no, I would rebut that by saying the expression of sensitivity.
There we go.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the expression
has been detrimental to some of us in certain cases, or being in touch with your emotion has been detrimental. Because think about it, man. Like if you weak, like you could literally die for not being strong enough, literally and physically. Like again, I'm going back to those times, and all I'm saying is, you don't think that could produce generational trauma? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think that? Like, somebody who's been in a car accident once may never drive down that street again. Right? Now you're talking about ancestors that have been the worst conditions you can think of. You don't think that's gonna have an effect on how they raise their kids? Like this shit, this is the thing, man. Like I know, like I'm on my Black Power shit right now, but I know that we get a lot of knock, like as a Black culture, because of some of the things we do. Like I mentioned on a lot of episodes ago, how one of my coworkers asked me why Black people are always ready to fight. But this is what it goes back to. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not, because if think about it, right? Think about it in the street. Growing up, forget about hustling street. Just think about growing up as a kid playing outside. What happens in that neighborhood when somebody finds out you're soft or you're not willing to stand up for yourself? It's open season on you. And I'm not talking about getting money. I'm talking about being a 10-year-old kid. Now you amplify that to you chose a life of crime. Forget about it. They're going to try you every chance they get. So it almost becomes your duty / responsibility to never let somebody see that, because then they will take advantage. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So my next question then, this is for you, Chill. I was going to ask Bell this shit first. I want to ask you, how has the decrease or increase in sensitivity in society impacted Black masculinity in your eyes? How is this whole switch, whatever it is that wherever we are now, however you see it, right? Because we all see sensitivity different, right? We can identify it in, emotional responses, whatever. How do you think that's impacted Black masculinity now?
I think for so long, just with the stigma of Black men not being good enough in general, we struggle with trying to assimilate, fit in, whatever you want to call it. So naturally, it's like we become inherently more sensitive to everything around us because we're still fighting for a place of belonging. No, I mean,
I like that answer.
Yeah, I never considered that, but I think that's accurate as fuck.
And think about it, right? We fighting for a sense of belonging. And here's the messed up thing. And it's not every woman, please hear me clear. But I think part of the culture right now, unfortunately, is to shun the overly sensitive man. So you just said something, Chief. You said searching for a place of belonging. So when that man searches for belonging in his home or in his relationship, and then is met with, "Are you sensitive as dude?" Right? Like that's crazy.
That's wild.
Like that's crazy to me because you don't even know what that man is going through, and it's like, and who do you want me to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I also think that there's a misconception of what good looks like in a man and a woman in a relationship. There's a misconception. Like I think we paint these pictures of what it's supposed to look like, but I don't believe that there is a utopia for relationships or a person, right? Like a successful person looks like this. Successful relationship. I don't think there's a utopia for that. I think it's all dependent on the individual, but I think we go into it with this utopian mindset and we block our blessings.
And that is exactly so. In simple terms, I think a lot of people, men in general, because of lack of experience in relationships and whatnot, they go into them based on what society's perception of it is and haven't paid attention to the individual in it. And that's why a lot of it is suffering. I'm doing what the world tells me or what it looks like around the world, but haven't catered to my person.
Which goes back to everything Prentice said a little while ago. The strings are being pulled to get you to think a certain way.
And so now they have, and I feel like now they have, honestly, I feel like now they have a lot of black women doing it for them. Because when you talk about being accepted at home, you're usually chasing a woman, right? So, before you even create a home with a woman, you're just trying to get to meet one. Before you meet one, you listening to what they want and do not want. So
this shit is so deep, bro.
Then you find yourself conforming to whatever type of woman you're interested in pursuing, her ideology. But if that ideology doesn't fit your human nature, then you're automatically not being honest with yourself. Like you're not giving. And I feel like that's what I go through now as a grown adult, learning that superpower I talk about of finding the balance within me, always having been an emotional person. Like for so long, you don't give yourself the platform to figure out where your level of sensitivity fits in within your identity, because you're constantly listening to and shaping yourself through the lens of whoever you may even subconsciously want acceptance from.
Yo, it's so crazy because this is funny because I'm having this conversation. Like, I'm about to go off the grid, man. I'm about to go off the grid because it's like, bro, what is even real anymore? Right. And here's why I say that. Let's just say a woman had you can't take me to cheesecake on a first date or whatever. You remember that, whatever that whole situation was.
Yeah.
Let's just say that person really felt that. Right. But now what happens is now it's like, oh, that went viral. Let me give my 2 cents. I may or may not even feel that way, but I want to go viral. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, what is even real? Like, what is real? Like, I would not know what to do if I was in these dating streets. So Godspeed, Chief. Like
blessings to you, my nigga.
Yeah, man. Like I don't know what's real, man. Like I don't know what's real. And I'm not saying that there aren't real people out there. What I'm saying is it's hard to discern who's who.
And that's why the vetting process takes so damn long.
But see, I don't think it does, bro. I don't think it does. I think it may. I think because you've done some work. I think for you it may. Bro, people are gullible. People are gullible and people are con artists. You know what I'm saying? Like this one friend I have in particular, Like they continue to fall for the gaffle. And it's like, yo, they're running game.
Yeah. Hit you with the flim flam.
Yeah. It's called the 52 fake out, right? Like they're running game. Like
you've seen it before.
Yeah, but see, it's theater, bro. Like it's like
keep running the sweep. The reverse is coming.
Yes. Stay home. Tell that DN to stay home, man. Like it's coming. Like, bro, and Prentice, I don't know if you wanted to go this route, but maybe because I'm like in an emotional state right now, bro. This got me kind of fucked up right now. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, yo, what is really real, bro? Like, what is real? You know, like I'm thinking about this individual, and I'm like, yo, it's theater. Like it's really theater. You think about the honeymoon phase. And I think sometimes, again, dude, this you really touched on something with me here. I really think social media is holding all the cards. They're holding all the cards, bro. I don't know if Shy is into Inside Out, but they have it's when like there's a girl
into it heavy, yeah.
Oh, and now okay, right, and now it's probably the age, right? Chase just got into it. There's all these emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm looking at social media as all the emotions, and they're telling you what you should look for.
Yep.
Which in turn, the guys know what to show you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they get so good at it. It's like, oh, she fell for it. So if she can fall for this shit, ain't no telling what she's gonna fall for. So I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I got what I came here to get. I'm gone. Or the girls, same thing. The girls, same thing. They put on the act, the theater, and they get what they can get. And then the dude maybe head over heels thinking that, you know, it's genuine, and vice versa. But nah, man, it's an act, bro. And I'm not saying everybody is acting, but I am saying it's so many people acting that it's hard to discern who's who.
My favorite show on TV since quarantine, me and Sarai got into it. It's this love reality series called Unveiling. Watch every fucking season of this shit, right? And it's funny you're saying that because, you know, the whole premise is, you know, you date around to see if you can find the one you want. If you're not in a relationship at certain points in time, you're kicked off the island. You know what I'm saying? They're being Fiji and Bali and all these fucking places. And the most interesting thing is that when you're talking about the act, the one thing that I realized watching the show is that these people put on their best foot forward, which is social media, right? Social media, you're always highlighting the grand aspects of your life. So one, you're not leading with the clearest image of who you are.
Yeah.
But
transparency.
It always culminates, heartbreak always ends up having to be the determining factor for when people choose to really fall into how they genuinely feel. And that heightened level of sensitivity, right? And vulnerability after their hearts have been broken. After they feel like somebody disrespected them, somebody chose somebody else over them, that's when they give themselves the moment to really feel. Anytime outside of that, they're putting on their best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, to what you're saying, Bell, like with the whole act thing, I feel like that's what we're doing with the whole concept of, you know, like sensitivity and censorship in social media. We're putting on our best foot forward, and it takes something to totally destroy us mentally or emotionally for us to unplug real quick and log out.
But
I feel how we feel. But as soon as we log back in, we right back on the same shit.
So I couldn't agree with you more. The thing I'll add to that is the reason why that's possible is because we may be using social media to define who we are.
No, absolutely.
As opposed to doing the work outside of there and then coming to social media and using it for what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? But if we haven't found validation in self and we're going there for validation, we're going to do shit to get it. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about that the other day because I got this thing that I'm doing on Snapchat. I was like, you know, I posted some sneakers I was wearing one day, and I got like a lot of comments about it. I'm like, sneakers are $40, but whatever. And then I'm like, you know what I'm gonna start doing to help me I'm gonna start posting a new pair of sneakers or a pair of sneakers I wear every day. I said because what I need to do is start wearing some of these sneakers so these shits don't deteriorate. So I went to social media to encourage me to do something I've already wanted to do, not because like I don't need anybody to comment. Like it's just me. The idea is like, all right, I'm gonna snap a new pair of shoes today because I need to wear these shoes, and this is a way to hold myself accountable, as opposed to I need everybody to see what I got.
Yeah, and flexing for the gram.
I need the flex. I need it. That's why I post on Snapchat. Like, you know, it's like those are only people that are in my that have saved in my phone, you know. So, but people go there to fill voids that they have not filled internally. And that shit's all, like you said, it's temporary. So you turn it on, you turn it off. You know what I mean? But it's
do you though? So when you say that though, for one, like the heartbreak teaches us the most lessons, right? Or the biggest lessons, the greatest lessons, right? But with that also comes change. Like again, I apply everything I hear, listen to myself. So when I go, one of the biggest lessons I've learned via heartbreak, it has now made me more comfortable in that sensitivity, in that vulnerability. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's not the only. Yeah, I agree, but it's not the only option to find comfort in it. And I think that's the problem. Like,
what do you mean? Say that. Help me understand.
It often takes heartbreak in those moments to gain comfort in enduring those type of experiences, right? Like, why can't it take something? Why can't it take a happy lesson, like something that makes you happy or something that makes you joyful to find comfort in that same experience when it happens again? Why is it always?
Oh, true. So it's the heartbreak. It's the heartbreak that brings comfort for you crying. But you know, when the soldier come home and hugging his long lost dad that he hasn't seen in a while, you want to buck up your tears and whatnot. But you know what I mean. But like when you meet your person, you crying, but you can't cry when someone else do it. Yeah, so that's a good point.
Yeah, man. So you know, it was just I see we had an hour, man, but it was just a thought with this sensitivity thing. And shit, can I don't know if y'all cool with rapping, but I want to get my final thought first.
You got it already? It just abruptly ended the episode. You supposed to like,
he's like, we gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
No, I know Chief got shit to do, so you know I was trying to be mindful of the time.
No,
niggas like tell us what the fuck you gotta do.
That's this is a good conversation, man. We should definitely tap back into just embracing.
Real quick, I just Googled pain quotes because you said a good point. You made a good point. Like, why does it have to be through pain that we learn the biggest lessons, or something to that effect? You said, and the quote from Chuck Palahniuk. There's two quotes I'm gonna read. There's a lot. I'm gonna send you this link. It says, "It's so hard to forget pain, but it's even harder to remember sweetness. We have no scar to show for happiness. We learn so little from peace." The other quote I'll read is, "I don't believe there's pleasure in life. I believe there's only relief of pain. We have to suffer to be on top." I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but these are, to answer your question, right? There's no scar to show from sweetness. You have a constant reminder of pain. You know what I mean? Like I said, you get in a car accident, I'm not going down that street no more. Oh, I'm not driving no more. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. There's something to be said about that. There's definitely some psychology behind it. It's that's like gamblers. Like people who are addicted to gambling. I had a best friend that was addicted to gambling. And what I learned, and he learned, they're no longer chasing the wins. They're chasing the losses. Because that's the only thing that gives them emotion, which is crazy. It was crazy, man. Like it said, gamblers no longer chase the win, they chase the loss. I said, wow. And then I told him that, and he thought about it. He's like, holy shit, you're right. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude won 80,000, called me to come get the money because he couldn't trust himself. And when it would be no expressing of joy, nothing. It'd just, but he'll call me in tears after losing 10,000.
Yeah, down bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just crazy, man. Crazy. But there's something more there that we can explore on the psychological side. Maybe we get an expert on or something.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
dope.
shit,
I like to talk to somebody about that.
that would definitely open up some doors for great conversation. So this was cool. P, you said you wanted to take the final thoughts. So do us a favor, cuz let me get the little link up though real quick so we can, you know what I'm saying, pop this joint up and then put P in this joint right here. You up, P? Final
Yeah.
thought.
The more I think about the idea of heightened sensitivity in society, the more I feel like it's a sham and it's a scam. I don't think there's. I'm starting to believe that there's no such thing as being too sensitive. It's all emotion, man, and sensitivity, and what we can perceive as sensitivity is just one piece of many out of like human emotion, and for some reason it's one that's highlighted with us as men, that we're judged upon really heavily, and we're convinced that we can't show to a certain extent, or we're less than either in the eyes of other people or the eyes of ourselves. So I want to tell everybody, just get rid of the idea of being too sensitive and focus more on your emotional control and how you handle how you're feeling. Because at the end of the day, sensitivity is just about reacting to how you feel, and it's okay to feel. So that was my final thought.
Sensitivity is about reacting to how you feel, and it's okay to feel.
Hmm.
Profound, Mr. Powell. Well done. Well said. Bell, oh, you there? Go ahead, Bell. You want to take the next one?
I'll go. There was just a big ass bug that flew in here. I don't know what it
Yo,
is.
I've been trying not to wild out on the screen the whole episode, but it's
I
been one
saw
flying
you with
by.
you had a towel in your hand and some shirt or something. Um, man, I think the more technology that's created, the more risk it puts human interaction, or the higher the risk for human interaction, genuine human interaction. And I feel before this stuff takes hold, you gotta lock in, man, on who you are at your core. Like if none of this existed, right? If none of this existed, if you could only talk to people on the phone, if you couldn't see people on the phone, if you couldn't see people on your computer screen, if you could only see people in person and see them and speak to them on the phone, what would you want them to see, and who would you want them to hear? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the version of yourself that makes you feel the best, and why? Right? Does it make you feel the best because everybody tells you that it looks good, or do you feel good regardless of what anybody says? In fact, do you feel so good it doesn't matter what anybody says? That's the question, right? Are you comfortable enough with yourself and who you are that it doesn't matter what anybody says? Now, I do understand that could be a tough hill to climb, but I think that's what we should all aspire to get to. One, before we pass judgment on anybody, first and foremost. And secondly, before we allow somebody to tell us who we are, we have to first understand what our non-negotiables are with ourselves, and what's the best version of ourselves. So that's my final thought.
No doubt. I wrote something down as we were talking, and it says pride can be directly tied to sensitivity. Sensitivity can be directly related to weakness, and weakness can be related to confidence. And I think if you put them all together, like, when sometimes when we're too prideful, we may our responses to that pride may be deemed as, being too sensitive. And if you're too sensitive, then you're considered weak. And if you believe you're weak, then you have to overcompensate and as a result of that, kind of fucks with your confidence a little bit because now you're faking the funk. You're faking it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? So I think to Prentice's point, like it's okay to feel, and anyone who judges you because you feel got some soul searching to do because we're human and we feel.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're labeled too sensitive, it isn't always a bad thing. How you respond to that sensitivity is the issue. Cool?
Cool.
Love it.
Cool. All right. So fellas, we another one. Consistent. Where we at? 4, 5 in a row now?
We just back on it.
We back
Yeah.
on it.
We just back on it, man. We ain't even counting.
Pete, there's a voicemail. We got a voicemail.
Word. Let me go. I'm gonna go to that shit right now. You know what? Speaking of voicemail, let me take this time, man. I want to give a shout out to a listener. This brother has been tapping in with me and the hotline since March. His name is Roosevelt. He had left us a message in March a long time ago. He actually texted me today, man, and his mom passed away. And they had to take her off the ventilator. And he texted me today and said that he's struggling right now. And Roosevelt, I'm not saying this to put his business on blast, but I think the whole purpose of us doing this is to show love and support. So to everybody listening right now, if you could just speak a positive word over this brother right now, man, of healing, of peace. That'd be greatly appreciated from me, man. He texted me today, and I'm gonna get back to him. I'm gonna respond to him after we hang up, man. But that you mentioned the hotline, and like you said, that's what the hotline is for, man. For y'all to reach out to us, because even if it's I'm sorry to hear that, and do you need to talk? That's why we are here. So please, y'all. I'll check the voicemail, but please lean on the hotline, man, because we are here to support you. And Roosevelt, I just want to say condolences to you and your family, bro. And we're here in whatever capacity we can help you. We be texting back and forth, and I ain't never seen this brother a day in my life. You know what I mean? But it's nice to know that some of you guys are vulnerable enough to lean on other brothers that you've never met during your biggest moments of support. And we appreciate you guys for that. And to the ones who don't do it as well, we appreciate you too.
AP, I don't know if he could benefit from this, but if it sounds like he's going through stuff and he leaning on you, bro, let's set up a joint for him, and we don't got to be published and all like that, but let's sit down and talk to him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, all right, I'll test him.
Hit him. Say if you want to jump on and just talk to us. We ain't got to put it out in the air. Just get on the StreamYard and let's chop it up and see if we can help money. Keep a level head.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. I'm texting him right now, literally.
Word. So our voice line, y'all, 860-410-6160. As you can see, based on Prentice's story just now, like we do tap in with y'all. We respond. We try to get in touch with everybody who reaches out to us. Hit us up, man. If we can help, and we have the time to do so, we will try to make the time for you. You know what I'm saying? So reach out, man. If we can help you move in a better direction. The podcast is helping us do it, so if we can help you do it, then so be it. 860-410-6160. We are all social media outlets at All Black Men Need Therapy. Hit the website, abmnt.com, allblackmenneedtherapy.com, and shoot some, get yourself some merch. We got some new stuff out right now. Also, August 24th, put it on your calendars. August 24th, we're having a live event here in Connecticut. More details to come real soon, but we just want to make sure we mention that in every episode. August 24th, a live All Black Men Need Therapy experience in Connecticut. More details to come. I think that's it. Per usual, man, do us all a favor. Well, first of all, thank you for tapping in with us. We appreciate y'all. We are 115, 16, 17, under about 120 episodes deep now, y'all. So we've been grooving. But do us all a favor and hug a black man today.
Do it.
And tomorrow.
Do it.
We out, y'all.
Peace.